brother. It's David here at FLC Knives and also the FLC Knives DGA. And what I'd like to do is help you save a boatload of time in your process so that you can boost your productivity and spend more time with your loved ones. Sounds like a pretty sweet deal, right? Now, how do I propose that you do this? If you're not doing it already, you need to get your blanks water jet cut. It's imperative. So step one, you have to have a design that you want to be able to sell a few of. So, work on getting to that point if you haven't already. You can contact me if you need some guidance getting to that point even. Feel free. You can DM me on Instagram, email me, or contact me on whatever platform you're seeing this video on. And I don't mind helping at all. I want to see you win. So once you get to that point where you have a design that you want to sell a few of, you need to get a 2D CAD model made. So either you figure out how to do that, or you ask around, or you can even talk to your local water jet place. Maybe they can help you out. But before you get parts cut, please, this is imperative, get one cut. Okay? Talk to the water jet place and tell them, listen, I want to get X amount of parts, but I'm afraid of scrapping a bunch of material. It needs to be a certain way. So can you cut one for me to verify this? And they can even cut that one piece out of just garbage. It doesn't need to be your good steel. Just cut it out of something comparable. Because what you want to see is you want to see the cut quality, and you want to see where they put the tab for where they stop and start the cut and leave a tab so that the part doesn't fall down into the tank and get lost forever. And you want to see that the shape is actually what you want, because you know how it is with communication. You say one thing, the person hears another, and then the guy then ends up cutting it out, does whatever he wants. So just save yourself that heartache. I've heard some pretty bad horror stories about that. Excuse me. So with this blank here, these actually get CNC milled, right? So for me, I actually leave stock on here. But if I was going to finish these off just with a belt grinder, I wouldn't have added this bit here. This bit here is for holding, right? So I mill the bevel on a CNC mill, and then this bit here stabilizes the bevel. So I mill this side, and then I flip it over, and I mill this side. And what this does is this keeps it really super stable. And then when I come in and I cut this tab or stabilizer, I call it bevel stabilizer, I cut that off and it stays put. Because you can just imagine, like these are, 60 to 61 Rockwell C in hardness already. So you can imagine what that little piece would do to your cutter or your blade if it just kind of went flying when you cut it off, right? So, think about your work holding, think about what you want to achieve. Like for me, I get them to put the tab down here because that's garbage, right? But if this was already finished, I'd probably get them to put the tab in the same place because that's where the bevel is going to go. So it's going to get ground and or sharpened off. So that little bit there is not a big deal. Because if the overall length on this varies by, 25 thou or something when I'm finishing it, it doesn't matter, right? You got to build some tolerancing into it. But if I was going to just make these and maybe just run like a quick linear scratch pattern around there with a horizontal, then, I'd want to talk to the guy about what kind of finish is being left. These are cut to Q3, so the cut qualities range, and they start at Q1, and Q1's like, full blast. So again, when you get your samples cut, just talk to your water jet guy about, your expectations. And then if you're going to have any holes, so, like these, but say I was going to put handle scales on here. If you wanted a couple holes there, talk to him about that. Make sure that you get what you want. Make sure you get like the proper reaming stock left in there if you're going to ream them. And a lot of these places, they will actually do that for you, right? So these blades, I get them water jet cut from the steel place, and then they send them to the heat treaters who sends them to me. So for me, that saves a pile of handling. And that's a form of automation, right? You got to leverage the resources that are available to you. So, they told me that I would be happy to drill these, ream them, chamfer them, whatever I want. And it's on a per hole cost. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't a lot. So if I had needed that, I would have went for it for sure. Because, for starters, if these are going to go to heat treat next, I don't really want to have to deal with hard holes, right? It doesn't matter. You get into carbide tooling, you can do it, but it's a bit of a tooling consumer dealing with it in a hard state. So if that needed more work, I would actually just get them to do it so that when it got to heat treat, it's pretty much done as far as all that stuff goes. Then I would just take these, they'd come in and I just drop them on a fixture, right? And I wouldn't have to do anything to the holes. Occasionally I'll tumble them. If they come in occasionally there's a bit of a wicked hook on that edge. These aren't too bad, right? They did a pretty good job. So I'd like to encourage you to pursue this. So reach out if you have questions, right? And save yourself some time. Spend more time with your loved ones, make more money, move more product, and be less stressed out in general. I used the example before that just say for argument's sake, say it takes you an hour to do a bevel. Obviously this little bevel doesn't take that long, but say it did on some larger, more conventional design knife. Say it took you an hour, and say it took you 20 minutes to do your 2D profile. It's pretty easy to see that you would have, for every 3, right? So for every 3 blades, right? There's 3. For every 3 of these that I get water jet cut, then I don't actually need to do the 2D profile. So boom, I've just got like a block of time I bought that gets me a bevel done rather than doing the profile on 3s. So you can see how the multiplication effect there on your time can really help you win quite rapidly. So, if I missed anything, well, it doesn't really matter. This is not intended to be all-encompassing. I just really want to push you to take it seriously, take your time seriously, and leverage the principles of automation you have available to you. So what do I mean by principles of automation? Automation is basically anything that you can cause to happen without you actually doing it. So, once you get the CAD model done, like you could actually pay somebody to make the CAD model or trade them a blade for it or whatever you want to do to make the CAD model. Boom, that happened automatically, right? Because you didn't do it, you just asked for it, right? So you're leveraging principles of automation, right? The next thing is you call up the steel place, right? And you buy steel, right? You didn't have to make the steel. You're leveraging a principle of automation. You get the water jet guys, the CAD file, and they cut it out for you. Boom, you're saving that 20 minutes on your 2D profile, right? And then if they send it, or say they drill the holes and ream them, chamfer them, whatever you need done, say they do all that, you don't have to do it, right? And then say they send it off to heat treat, you don't have to do that, right? So that principle just goes on and on. So many of us want to be vertically integrated, and I think that is quite desirable for good reason. But to get there, you got to lean heavily on every competitive advantage that you have. So I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope that was helpful. Please do me a favor and like, comment, and subscribe. That way I know whether I'm offering solid value to you or not. And please do feel free to reach out. So I'm here to help you guys. See you in the next one.